everybody. This is This Week with the Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly. And today is your Saturday, September 18th edition of This Week with the Roses.
That's right.
Formerly known as Friday Night Chats.
Yep. So because of the format and the way we're doing things, we're both working and blah, blah, blah. So here we go. This week. So this week is an interesting week. Let's see what happened this week.
It was my very first week of school, 5 full days of school with students for the first time since March 2020.
Yeah.
Because when we went back face-to-face last year, we worked Mondays, but the kids had asynchronous work Mondays, and so they were not in school on Mondays. That gave us a planning day. So this past week was our first full Monday through Friday with students in the room, and it felt like it.
Yeah.
Someone said this week's been the longest year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've come to realize that the pandemic and the shutdown has had a very interesting effect on kindergartners.
Kids coming in, yeah. Well, in a couple of years, you're going to get your first Rona. You're going to have a kid named Rona.
I hope not.
In your class.
Why would you name your child after a disease that's killed all those people?
It's going to happen. You're going to have a kid named Rona or Covidia or something. Covidia, whatever. You're doubling down on that kid. Not only are you a deadly virus, but you're going with the STD too.
Well, I thought it was just me this week. Every year I go through this cycle of having to readjust to going all the way back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. And this year it just seemed different, like stepping it back even more than we have had to in the past. Mm-hmm. And I just thought maybe it's just me adjusting to, everything. But I've seen so many TikTok videos from kindergarten teachers. And one in particular who...
Yeah, you showed me that video. That was dead on what you were
really funny, because I was like, this is exactly what has been going on. And then, I scrolled through all of her TikToks and I found out she resigned. Yeah, she's just like, I just can't do it. I can't take it anymore. So what I'm noticing is and it may be just because they've been not socialized. I mean, they just haven't been around people. And they may have been at home with parents who were trying to work from home and therefore just doing whatever they needed to do to get the children to be quiet so they could work. There's a lack of understanding that you have to actively think about what you're doing.
Well, plus it's probably, and this has always been the case, this is the first time they're experiencing the idea that they're not the center of the universe.
I mean, that's
developed. Their parents make them the center of the universe.
But that's developmentally appropriate. That's where 5-year-olds are developmentally. So I'm used to that. They don't realize that, they're not the only voice in the room or...
Wow, it just occurred to me that moment when you realize that you're not the center of the earth when you're 5 years old, that's when shit goes downhill.
It's heartbreaking. That's soul-crushing moment when you realize that other people are important too.
Yeah. You're not even in the top 10.
But I'm just talking about simple directions. Mm-hmm. I literally had this conversation. I want you to go look right over there. You know where you see my table? You know where my table is? Yeah. Go over to my table. Just walk toward my table. And they just wandering. And I'm like, no, you have to walk toward my table. Do you see the yellow chair, the yellow stool? And she couldn't see it. And she was standing right next to it. But she didn't know to look down. And I said, it's right behind, turn around. And she did a complete 360. And I was like, no, it's behind you. You just have to handhold them. And they really need physical guidance because they can't follow directions go put that on my table right there. They can't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we're really having to go back a long way with it. But they're lucky they're cute. And they still tell funny stories. And their laughs are still hilarious. And
You know, that just reminded me. We meant to tell you about this before we got on, but I
Should
had a call
we mute
today.
the mic?
No, we're good. We're good. I had a call today, and I was talking to this guy. I was trying to guide him through stuff. And, you know, sometimes I have to really get into guiding people through stuff on their computer. And this guy was following along pretty well. And I got to a point where I was like, no, I need you to click on this thing that looks like a little gear on our website. And he was having the hardest time with it. And I said, it was over on the right. You see these symbols. And he's been gangbusters doing everything, but he could not figure this out. And I was like,
he didn't know what a gear was.
It's better. He's blind. And he tells me, I'm sorry, I didn't mention this, but I'm blind. And I have this thing that helps me find stuff on my computer screen. And I was like, that's fantastic. And I said it out loud. I was like, that's fantastic. I was like, you have been going along so well. I never even suspected it.
I hope you didn't say, can't you just see it? It's right there.
Oh, thank God I didn't say that. Thank God I didn't say that. Because I've been known to say dumb shit like that before, but I didn't say it then. And it was just amazing. I was like, you are doing so good. It's amazing. I need to figure out how to get you to where I need you to go. And it sucks that we have to do this, but we were finally able to get in there and do all we had to do. But it was like, I was like, sir, I talk to people for a living to guide them through this type of thing. And you did so much better than anybody else that I've worked with in this week. And he was pretty happy about it.
Well, that wasn't the problem in my room. They all have vision.
They're just 5.
So yeah, we had our Rockstar Tech Ninja in to, show them through the procedure of logging in.
Shout out Dina to
their Chromebook.
One of our number 1 fans.
Logging out of their Chromebook and getting to Seesaw, which, and it takes more than one time, of course. But I kind of sabotaged myself and I thought, well, let's try to get to Smarty Ants. I can do this thing whole group because they've all had the experience of at least once. Yeah. I mean, it's like nobody keep your Chromebook closed. Because if you say don't open your Chromebook, they hear open your Chromebook.
Yeah.
So I always have to try really to remember to just say keep your Chromebook closed. And so we got that and okay, everybody open it and you have to wait. They can't wait. So they're like hitting buttons. Mine's not coming on. I'm like, you need to give it a minute to think it's thinking. Don't touch the buttons while it's thinking. And they're just touching buttons. And I mean, we really spent like 30 minutes logging in and then closing out the internet and powering off and closing. And now everybody open your Chromebook, touch this, go here, wait, don't touch, don't put your hands on your head, don't touch anything. Okay, now is everybody there? Everybody's there.
Early on in life.
So, and then, okay, close the internet. Now hold the button, hold it until it turns off. Now close it. Okay, now everybody open your Chromebook. Like we did it like 4 times in a row because it's just, that stepping back is painful, but every day has gotten better. Yeah. And like I said, they're still very sweet. And, we've had some funny moments. Like one of the kids decided to tell me about Pinocchio, but he was calling him Pinocchio's. And so that became the thing, Pinocchio's, because, his nose when he doesn't tell the truth. It's just little hilarious moments like that where you can, this is why, okay, this is why, this is funny. I'm still enjoying that part of it, but like, man, it's painful.
Yeah.
Going back to basics and how to hold. And
you do it every year?
Yeah. It's just this year seems harder. And I think it is just because
they're COVID kids.
They're COVID kids.
They haven't been socialized. They've been kind of locked up, cooped up with their parents. So yeah.
So there's that.
You'll have that for the next few years, and
probably.
And then when you get COVIDia in your class and Rona in your class, it'll start getting better.
Please, nobody, don't name your kids that. Don't. So yeah, that's been my week.
Yeah. We also our washing machine died, so that was fun. Yeah. We ordered a new one and got all that. Here's an interesting thing. we went to Home Depot. My mother-in-law wanted to look at it. You know, she wanted to see it. We saw it online, but she wanted to see it. So we drove up. I rode up with her. And we're looking for it. Couldn't find it right away. And we looked, and they had this row of refrigerators that was in the aisle. And it was behind one of those refrigerators. So it was like a foot of clearance between the two. So I had to squeeze in there to look at this thing. And I showed it to my mother-in-law, and she squeezed in. And that was fun. But
well, it was Labor Day, and they were probably having sales.
Probably.
So they're putting a lot of things out on the floor so people can see.
So we ordered that. And that's on its way. And then we, but, you know, we still got the laundry. So we ended up at the laundromat. And let me tell you what sucks. The damn laundromat.
I mean, you don't realize we've lived with washer and dryer, my whole life.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, if the dryer was broken or the washing machine was broken, you'd have to go to the laundromat. It was like a once a year thing, maybe we'd all have to go. But my memories of it were we got to put the coins in the machine and then walk to the 7-Eleven and get a soda. And so as a kid, it was kind of interesting. But as an adult, you take for granted having those machines in your home because there are people who live without them.
Yeah.
And they are at the laundromat every week.
In the city that do that. I don't know. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definite, it's a creature comfort for sure.
For sure.
That not everybody has, but yeah, the laundromats aren't. They should combine them with something really cool like bowling. Like there should be a bowling alley that has a laundromat so you can be washing your clothes and then be bowling at the same time.
That would be cool.
Or, you know, a movie theater with a laundromat so you can.
Problem with that is you can stop bowling for a minute. Right, but you're in the middle of a game. You can stop for a second, go move the clothes from the washer to the dryer. In a movie, not so much.
How about like a Dave and Buster's with a laundromat?
Yeah, that would.
You know how much money that would make?
Just even a little mini arcade.
Yeah, I mean, pizza. Why aren't people doing that?
Yeah,
that's what I would do if I had that. It's a good business model. Someone's probably already got it.
Yeah,
called Bowl and Tumble. Fluff and bowl. Yeah, so there's that. Then Kevin and I did a little bit of looking into some conspiracy theories this week.
Yeah. We thought about what do we want to talk about, and we just got on the idea of conspiracy theories.
Well, we heard a podcast where they were talking about different conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
The mattress firm one.
They did talk about mattress firm. Apparently, people started noticing that all these mattress firms are around. And there are. You look around, there's mattress firms everywhere. How in the hell can you oversaturate a market like that for something so expensive, right? So the theory is that it's really just a huge money laundering deal. And that kind of makes sense. I get that. And I'm not completely, sold on the idea, but I'm not completely dismissing the idea that that's something that it could be.
When you have them on like 3 of 4 corners at an intersection, there's just something not right with that. We
counted it one time, even before we heard about the theory, that there was like 15 of them in Virginia Beach. Why do you need 15 mattress firms? And then not even including all the other mattress places. There was just mattress firms.
I mean, there used to be like, what was it? Mattress discounters. Mm-hmm. Or there were like 2 places you could go to. Hanes, of course, or... You know, the furniture stores would always sell mattresses.
Yeah, but it was just...
what's the other one that we... the original Mattress Factory. Mm-hmm. But then these just mattress firms started popping up everywhere.
Everywhere. All over the country. It's not even just the Virginia thing. They're all over the country. And, it just seemed like, the idea that it could be used for money laundering makes total sense. That's what they do with money laundering. The idea is that you have something where you have all this illegal cash, you wash it through by purchasing big ticket items for way over market value, and then your money is clean. You have just clean money now that you can spend without the IRS getting on your ass. Makes total sense to me.
Another one they talked about was birds, that the government has replaced all birds with bird drones, and they're spying on everything. There's no natural birds anymore.
That's just crazy. Come on.
Even one of the guys on the podcast was like, what did I eat for Thanksgiving? Like,
yeah.
They still fly into your window. You can tell they're not drones.
Now, if they were to do that, they wouldn't need to replace all birds. They could just release drones that look like birds, and people, you even just leave them in the air, people aren't going to notice them per se, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of crazy. And there's always the crazy, like the theories like that, the libertarian theories they have with that actually end up being true sometimes, which is scary, about the NSA overreach. And
we weren't going to talk about any political
I know. Okay. But
that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. But as we're looking, we ended up finding this thing that we didn't even know about. And it's a huge deal.
Okay, so let me preface this by saying we are not travelers.
Yeah.
Most of the people who are watching us have probably known this. Mm-hmm. And it's new to us because we don't travel. We don't fly, certainly, anywhere.
The only time I've gotten on an airplane was to fly to Boston for a wedding and back. And that was it. That was an hour in the air.
I'd rather be in the car for 12 hours. But somehow we came across this thing that Denver International Airport was almost twice the size of Manhattan.
Which blows my mind. I was like, what? And then we asked Siri about it, and it turns out it's true.
It is true. And that's mind-boggling to me, that an airport would be twice the size of Manhattan. And I understand the square mileage of Manhattan probably isn't, I mean, it's an island.
Yeah, and it's long.
And it's long. But to have an airport, and then so I started looking up the square mileage of like other airports, and they're not even in the same range. They're not even close.
No. Like we looked up, we thought, well, Atlanta's the busiest airport in the world by far.
Atlanta was like 7 square miles, and
that blew my mind too. I was like, really? That's it?
The Denver was what? 50, 60, 50 or 70. I can't even remember. Square miles, a ridiculous amount of space. So we got to thinking about why you would need such a big area. And there are all kinds of conspiracies apparently connected to the Denver International Airport. Mm-hmm. One of them being that it's the home base for the Illuminati.
Yeah.
That was one. Let's see. Yeah, the New World Order built the airport. Mm-hmm. So the conspiracy is that the New World Order and alien execs are having a conference meeting down below the airport, where there's apparently all kinds of secret passageways and tunnels.
Apparently they're saying there was a lot of structure built that's on the books that it was built, but they don't use. So that kind of breeds the idea that these some of these are outlandish, but some of them are like, okay, I can kind of get that.
So there's a statue of a Mustang at the airport. They say the statue is cursed, referred to as Blucifer or other names we can't print. Mustang is believed to be cursed due to it falling on the artist in 2006.
Really?
Yeah, this occurred 2 years before it was installed at the Denver airport.
Wait a minute.
So the statue fell on the artist. I don't know. It doesn't say. Oh, yeah, he died. So a portion of it fell onto him, causing his death. And then it was completed by his sons after he passed. And then they
still bought it?
And they installed it at the airport, yeah.
Oh,
it
my
has
God.
red eyes, are a tribute to his father, who owned a neon sign shop in which he worked. Jimenez, who is the artist who started and died during the construction of the thing, his father owned a neon sign shop. So this Mustang has red eyes.
Oh, my God.
In tribute to his father. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Holy shit.
The airport has extraterrestrial map coordinates. West 104 degrees, 44. I don't even know how to read all of that. But they're coordinates given to the humans by the aliens in Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And they take you to Denver International Airport.
Well, I imagine that's probably just somebody being smart. They're a fan of Spielberg's.
Yeah, it's like an Easter egg.
Yeah, that's not really, you can just be a fan of Spielberg for that. And there are people, I'm a fan of Spielberg, but there are people that are like diehard, every little detail. Just, that's kind of what Spielberg
does. But now it says it's
Easter
not so.
Too.
If you use those coordinates, you're going to land 51 miles northwest of the airport. So
which probably is still part of the airport.
Not even active. Probably. The gargoyles are sinister. So our TikTok video of the week is going to show you, if you've never been to Denver Airport, they apparently have animated gargoyles that interact with people as they're walking by. And they're said to be evil and point to all indications of a new world order. Mm. Yeah, and it's a guy sitting underneath an animated statue of a gargoyle, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Secret messages are inscribed in the floor.
That's a stupid way to do secret messages, though, because everybody can see it.
So the writings are on the floor, AUAG. The inscription on the floor of the Great Hall is the abbreviation for the deadly toxin Australia antigen, which is said to be the Illuminati's secret weapon to accomplish the genocide.
That's stupid.
But they're actually atomic symbols for gold and silver, representing Colorado's mining industry. Makes more sense.
That makes much more sense.
And then the last one here is that it's very connected, not just to airline destinations, but that the airport tunnels are connected to Cheyenne Mountain, the home of NORAD, thus creating a 120-mile escape route to survival bunkers.
I guess that kind of makes a little sense because, let's say you're connected, the connected folks, and shit's about to go down. So you got to have somewhere to go that's super protected. So you all pool your resources together. You create this bunker, but you need somewhere where you can get to it in the quick. So you fly to Denver. You get to Denver. You get in an airplane
and you just fly to Denver in the middle of,
whatever. I mean, hopefully you're connected so you know beforehand. That's my guess. I get the idea behind that kind of makes sense. Well, here's the practicality of it is way off. But
you want to know the reality?
Sure.
If you'd like to visit Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado Springs, we offer direct flights daily. However, the hardened command and control center that was built as a defense against long-range Soviet bombers during the height of the Cold War is now closed to the general public.
Yeah.
So I guess the command center or whatever at the airport was built during the Cold War, which makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be close to. We're talking about connected people. Now, there's no doubt that there are rules that
where the president's
separate,
going.
Not just the president, but connected people.
Now everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you all know this, that there are rules that are for you, but not for the people that are connected. You know that. I don't have to explain that. You all know it. So the idea that they're a place where they could go that kind of makes sense. Now, the practicalities of it, the realities of it, probably not. The likelihood is not. But to dismiss out of hand the idea that the connected folks have got their own shit set aside for when the shit goes down.
Jeff Bezos has a place.
Yeah.
He probably built it himself.
He's probably ready to get on another rocket.
Could
and
rent
get
them out.
space.
Bezos bunkers. Sold by Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting things. Yeah. Most conspiracy theories are just, there's some vein of truth in there, and then people go a little bit nutty.
Yeah. People that's just what people do. People use their imaginations in great ways. And I think that's what happens. You get a sliver of truth, and then you start going on down the rabbit hole. And next thing you know, you got freaking Bigfoot running at you.
Yeah. So the bunkers, I might look to be finding one of those, because I also read a story about Purdue University created the whitest paint on record. And what they're saying is that if you paint the exterior of your buildings in this paint, it reflects 98.6% or whatever of the sun heat, that they can do away with air conditioners. And I'm telling you right now, if air conditioners go away, I'm going to be living in a bunker under Denver Airport, because I'm sure it'll be way cooler. You get rid of it. Air conditioners would not be good for me.
If you go to a cave, like a legit cave.
Yeah, they're cold.
They're cold. They maintain a 58 degree temperature. So because
perfect for me.
Right. So I get the idea. If it's reflecting the sun, it would kind of work like a cave. It would probably have a natural temperature of 58
But you're reflecting
degrees.
all that heat back out. Wouldn't it just make the outside even hotter?
Yeah, well, there's that.
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but...
Yeah. Well, maybe we just look to live in a cave. There's just not any caves around here.
I'm just okay with my AC.
Yeah.
My fan. I do run a fan and a ceiling fan and the AC, and sometimes in the summer, an oscillating fan also.
And so the little fan blasting you in the face.
It's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we also wanted to wish
my sister, well, technically sister-in-law, but my sister-in-law, Darlene, it's her birthday today. So
happy birthday, Darlene. Hope you're having a great one.
Yeah. And we found out fairly recently she watched the show, so that's awesome. So we love you so much. She took care of my mom for over the last decade, and she fantastic woman. Gave birth to my niece and nephew, and they're fantastic people. She's just one of my favorite people of all time. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And this week we lost Norm Macdonald, who is one of my favorite comedians of all time. And it's been kind of fun watching the various tributes to Norm. Didn't know he had cancer. He's had cancer apparently for the last 9 years.
Yeah.
But he hit it well, and he's,
well, has he been in the public eye at all?
Yeah. He had a show on Netflix last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was called Norm Macdonald Has a Show.
That's creative.
And he did an episode of Comedians in Cars, and it was hilarious. Go on Netflix and watch that. Watch the Norm Macdonald Show and the Comedians in Cars with Norm Macdonald. It was a great episode. It was just fun to watch. He was a great guy. He's always fun. So I'll miss Norm. So thanks, Norm. Thanks for all the laughs.
All right. So anything else happened this week you want to talk about?
Nope, that's it.
Nothing.
That's it.
All right. So we will be back in our second segment with some table topics.
There we go.
Now, I said I wasn't going to say it, but then I found out that's not why we've been flagged for copyright on YouTube. So funny that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll be back for that segment in just a second.
And we're back. And we're back with table topics.
Table topics.
This is the CODs. So
all right. Am I going first?
You go first.
Which are your favorite websites?
Ooh. IMDb. I visit IMDb just about every day.
Really?
Yeah, for whatever reason. And then, of course, Netflix, the streamings, Disney Plus, Netflix, Prime. I really gotten into liking Tubi, which is free. They have a lot of old school cartoons. Peacock.
We discovered Tubi because we wanted to watch Daisy of Love.
Daisy of Love. Apparently, Q thinks it's the best show ever.
And so we haven't gotten around to actually watching it, but that's how we kind of discovered. I didn't know anything about Tubi.
I saw it before that because they had a bunch of the old 80s cartoons. They had G.I. Joe, Transformers, Cops. I can go on and on, but Tubi is great if you're like the old school cartoons. But yeah, number one, I visit IMDb every day. Just whatever. I'm just like, oh, well, what about that show? And I'll bring it up, and there it is.
Kevin probably visits IMDb like I visit Amazon.
Yeah.
Which was probably my favorite website.
Yeah, Amazon. That makes sense.
Yeah, I love Amazon.
I've gotten into a little bit of a routine.
Sorry for those people who hate the big evil Amazon, but
stupid. They hate
Amazon. I like Amazon. They make my life more convenient.
Yeah. Amazon's not a horrible, evil company. People keep saying that, but they're wrong. Anyway, it's part of my routine when I'm on my break for work. I'll get up, say hey to whoever, fix myself a drink, and I'll walk to the front door and check the porch. Because inevitably, on one of my breaks, there's going to be something there, most likely from Amazon, for one of the ladies of the house, either my wife here or my mother-in-law.
We probably have something on the porch right now, to be honest.
It's very likely. Today there was a bunch of bags. So
I am waiting on an Amazon delivery. I wasn't just kidding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We have something being delivered today. I saw it. Well, I have this thing where, like, I take medicine in the morning. I take proton pump inhibitors. Is that what it's called? Yeah, anyway, Prilosec, Prevacid, whatever. So I take that in the morning, and then I have, like, you know, I take it again at night, but I have to take it before I eat dinner. And then I have my blood pressure medicine and like some vitamin stuff that I take before I go to bed at night. And I will inevitably forget to take, I'm really good at like the nightly stuff, but the morning is hard for me to remember. Anyway, I came across like 36 of the best products on Amazon. And I looked at it, and there was a pill dispenser that I just kind of was like, that's super cool. And so, yes, I spent $35 on.
You bought 2 of them, one for you.
Well, I did. Well, then I spent $70 because they were $35 each.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oops.
I didn't know they were that expensive. You said $35. I was like, okay, that's not bad for 2 pill dispensers.
My problem is when I'm filling them, the one I have, like the tops pop open. And then I'm sitting on the bed generally, and if Tilly jumps up, they flip over. But this one has like silicone top, and you push the pills through it. Yeah. So I don't have to worry about spilling them. And yours sits there, and we always hit it with the door, and it falls on the floor. Yeah. Just little problems I'm trying to solve.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. I got it. So, all right. That's one. Okay. If it were necessary to add 2 countries to which the U.S. If it were necessary to add 2 countries to the U.S., which would you pick?
So 2 countries that we're going to add to the United States. They're going to become a part of the United States.
I guess.
Well, Canada, that just would be easy.
Yeah.
Because we're already connected. And
keep their damn geese. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is this my question or your question?
Go ahead.
You know, maybe if they weren't Canadian geese, you wouldn't hate them so much. Yeah. Maybe if they became U.S. geese, you'd like them better.
Well, they'd still be walking in the street and they can fly, so. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Canada.
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 I'm not going to make fun of you, even though I really want to right now. I mean, I guess just for ease of like issues, Mexico and Canada, just because they're connected to us.
Yeah.
I can't think of another country that would. That's kind of a silly question.
Yeah. And I would agree. I don't want any country to be just annexed in. If they want to join, and they just like when the other states joined in and go through that process, great. Canada would probably never willingly do that. And
no country would willingly do it.
I think Cuba would. I think Cuba to get rid of the communists? Yeah. The actual citizens. Same thing with Guam or Puerto Rico. I'm sure that they would love to.
Puerto Rico's not a good. Puerto Rico's already
it's a territory.
Territory. Yeah. So,
of course, they've always chosen not to be a state. So, I wonder why. Because they're getting all the benefits without the taxes.
Ready for the next question? Yep. Okay. When and why did your family come to this country? We kind of talked about this.
Well, we did it with the 23andMe. I have no idea. I really don't. My mom and dad came down from Boston, from Massachusetts, Weymouth, Boston area, and they migrated down here. My brothers were both born in Boston, and then I was born down here, and we stayed here. Why they did that, I'm guessing for work, but I have no idea.
My family came from Ireland, and I'm assuming I could check with my dad, who's right over here building this really super cool car. But our family came here because of is it religious reasons or potato famine or work?
Work. It was no work.
No work. Yeah. Yeah. So now you just touched the microphone. You know how dangerous that was?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So I'm guessing for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We'll
next question.
All right. Next one. What was the best wine you've tasted?
Oh, that one's for me.
Yeah.
The best wine I've tasted recently was the sweet red from Cooper's Hawk.
Yeah, that was really good.
I like sweeter wine. I don't like a dry wine. Mm-hmm. But the sweet red is really good. And there was the apple, anything with the Concord grapes.
Yeah.
Super good. I like Moscatos, but anything that's sweet. I don't drink a lot of wine, though. To be honest, I had an incident with wine, and ever since then, I just can't seem to do it. But the sweet red is really good, and that's just got me thinking I might need to stop at Cooper's Hawk sometimes. Pick up some of that. Unless we have some. We might have some.
Still have some in the fridge. So, but I'm all down for a date night one night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
100%. Anyway, for me...
maybe we'll take Robin and Troy there for their anniversary.
There you go.
That's what we should do.
Shout out to Robin and Troy. They just had their anniversary. Troy put up on Facebook just this lovely thing for their anniversary. And it was like, you don't say much on Facebook, but when you do, you knock that shit out of the park.
And then he brought like this huge bouquet of flowers and balloons and these yummy cookies to school. It was pretty great.
Good guy.
Okay. So
for my wine, I would probably say the same thing. The only thing I remember when we went to Northern Virginia one time and found an apple wine.
We went to that wine expo.
Yeah.
In Richmond.
Yeah,
and that's where we ran into that.
Yeah.
Bird Cellars or something like that.
That's what it was. That was really good. So, but, I'm the same way. I prefer the sweeter wines versus the dries and whatnot. But I'm more or less a beer guy. I'm not big on mixed drinks. I'll drink them if I have to. But if I had my druthers, if I were to drink, which I don't really drink at all nowadays, but it'd be beer.
If I was going to a restaurant now, I will order a rum and Coke.
Mm-hmm.
I will sometimes order a pomegranate martini if they have it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I really like pomegranate martinis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been known to drink margaritas in the past. But margaritas just go straight to my head. I can't really do margaritas much anymore.
I remember you went for book club to
Jose
Tequilas. And then Troy and I both got phone calls because Robin's in the same book club. And we both got phone calls, and we ended up having to go pick them up.
Yeah. That was a fun night, though.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Okay. If you could live on any beach, which would you choose?
Virginia Beach.
It's a cool answer. I'm going with that one, too, Virginia Beach.
I love Hatteras Island. I've lived on Hatteras Island in summertime, and it's a great vibe, but I wouldn't do it now just because I'm spoiled and living in a place where I can basically get anything I want in a very quick manner. And if there's emergencies that happen, I have help quick as I'll get out. I
think Virginia Beach made a mistake by developing so close to the ocean, though.
Yeah.
I think that the hotels ought to have been developed back a street rather than right on like Atlantic Avenue, right facing the ocean. And I get they did it because of money reasons, I'm sure. But it's really, you can't drive down Atlantic Avenue and see the ocean.
No.
Because there's just so many hotels. It's just hotel. It's
a great way to people watch, though.
And we do people watch. But, like, if I was going to live on a beach because I wanted to go to the beach, we're not beach people, it probably wouldn't be Virginia Beach. It would probably be more like something like Outer Banks, Sandbridge area, where it's just quiet and laid back.
It is a different world down there. And I worked down there for 2 years at Waterfall Park. And, we used to have a camper down there. And then my brother had a house down there. And don't get me wrong, it's a different world. But it's beautiful. It's quiet. It's a different set of people.
If you're not looking for the, tons of shops and, like, all that kind of stuff, that's the kind of beach it is.
But it's just there is a pain in the ass aspect to down there. Because you're not getting anywhere quick. And anything on the island is a little bit more expensive because it's got to cross a bridge. So
well, talk to the people in Hawaii about that one.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to Hawaii. I have no desire to go to Hawaii.
All right, next question.
All right, let's see. Who's the most famous person you've met?
The most famous person I've met in person, believe it or not, I would have to say is Jack Wagner.
Really?
Wow. He was at the mall signing things, and I went and met him, and he was kind of a jerk. He was very, let's move it along, dismissive. I can't really think of any other famous people. I went to a taping of Regis and Kathy Lee way back in the day. I wouldn't say that I met them, but I was there and saw them. I really can't think of anybody else famous that I've met. Are you still with me? Did you get distracted by your phone?
I remember I know I got to answer the question too, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name that I talked to. So, let's see. Trying to remember.
This is one problem of us not knowing the questions ahead of time.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. So for me, it was Lance Guess. And
The Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter. Very good. Very good.
And I don't even spend time on IMDb.
Yeah.
I loved that movie.
It was an interesting thing. It was we were doing the one of the shows we were doing, the last show, the
Halloween show.
Yeah, one of the Halloween shows. And Virginia Beach started to do a horror con right around the same time called Blood on the Beach. And it was a blast. We ended up, they gave us a free spot. So we had a little 4-foot spot, and we got bumped from our free spot by Charlie freaking O'Connell, who is only famous because he's Jerry O'Connell's brother. He was not even a real freaking guy.
Was he on The Bachelor? Is that the same one that was on The Bachelor? Okay.
But he was in a couple horror flicks and sci-fi flicks. So we got bumped by Charlie freaking O'Connell, which to this day just boggles my mind. But there were other famous people there. We saw the guy who played T-Dog on Walking Dead. Warren Troyer was still alive, so he was rolling around on his thing. But I happened to be just wandering around on my own, and there's Lance Guest right there. And he's, no one's at his table. I walk up, and I was like, hey, Lance Guest, how's it going? I shake his hand, and I'm looking down the table, and I notice he's got Halloween 2, which he was in. Of course, The Last Starfighter, which, love that movie, and I hope
it's a great movie. Yeah. It really is a great movie.
Yeah.
It brings me right back to when I was a kid.
And then I'm looking around and I see some other stuff he's been on. I'm like, huh. So you don't have any Jaws stuff? And he starts laughing. He goes, well, there's just not really a whole lot of call for it. And I said, well, you did a pretty solid performance in that movie. I mean, you're no Roy Schreider, but it was not horrible. And he starts laughing. So I made Lance Guest laugh by basically
insulting him.
What do they call it? A backhanded insult?
Yeah.
So
backhanded compliment.
But that's how I roll. That's how I roll. But if I can make him laugh about probably his least favorite project because he doesn't even carry the merch anymore, and I probably would have even bought a piece of it, but I didn't.
Oh well.
There you go. All right, your turn.
All right. If you could trade houses with someone, whose home would you choose?
Jeff Bezos.
Really? You'd want to live in a big, huge mansion?
No. Geez. I can't think of anybody because I know that there's folks with nice houses. Tommy Darling's got a nice house. Roy and Robin, Troy and Robin have a really nice house, but I also like the idea of having a pool, which they don't have. So I would really want to. Delina's mom and dad.
They have a nice backyard. They have a really nice backyard.
Yeah, they've got probably the nicest backyard that I've ever been in. I mean, it's just laid out. They got a really nice pool, and up above it they have a hot tub, which I'm not big on hot tubs, but if you want to get in it and then you could just fall out of it to go into the pool.
The coolest thing about their pool is they have seats built into the side of the pool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I like that.
I mean, they have like a bar and a little
outdoor kitchen,
cabana house, outdoor kitchen, the whole nine. It was really just the backyard is the best setup. And their house is nice too. The inside of the house, I mean, they have a great place, but that backyard is easily the best backyard.
I was thinking, I just read that Rosie O'Donnell sold her estate in maybe Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it is. She took $1 million loss on it. Mm-hmm. And it's in a very exclusive neighborhood. And it was purchased by a real estate developer who's going to develop it into multi-unit family affordable housing.
Well, that's nice.
So part of the property is going to be affordable housing because there's a law now that says you have to provide a certain percentage to be affordable housing. So they're putting that way in the back. This is what I read. But the people in the community are up in arms about it. Well, because it's a neighborhood and it's a very exclusive... So a lot of rich celebrities live there, and they don't want multifamily units in that neighborhood.
They don't want the dregs to be hanging out.
In order to save Rosie, I would take that house. It was really pretty.
Yeah.
And it had a pool.
Well, there you
go. Just me. I don't have $5 million to spend on it, though. So.
Yeah. All right. So what do I got? What sport do you wish was more popular?
Why do we get we are not sports people. Why do we get all these sports questions?
Well, it's tabletop.
What sport do I wish was more popular?
Yeah.
I know you're going to say curling.
Mm-hmm. Or badminton. I think we should be dominating that in the Olympics. But go ahead.
I can't really think of a sport that I wish was more popular.
Yeah.
I think every sport has the right amount of popularity.
Yeah, I guess so. But with the curling, I really like watching that in the Winter Olympics. And I was real proud of the U.S. team who won gold for the first time ever the past Winter Olympics. So go Team USA. But I think it's an interesting sport. It's a lot more precision than you would imagine, because you just see the guys sliding this rock down and they're sweeping the shit out of the ice or whatever, and they're thinking, oh, there's precision involved with it. You're planning 2-3 shots ahead. It's like a real chess game. So I think I just find it fascinating.
It's like shuffleboard on ice.
Yeah. Well, still.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm not, like I said.
But at the same time, having only really wanting to watch it every 4 years, I'm down with that. So I guess if it were more popular,
you'd probably hate it. If it got commercial and all the athletes started demanding crap and they would,
I do really like the third tier sports in the Olympics.
Yeah,
I don't really give a shit about the basketball. I like the 3-on-3 basketball, but the big main with all the professionals I don't even care about. Even the swimming, I think, in gymnastics, I'm like, okay, it's fun to watch, but I don't really care about that as much as I like, because like the archery team, they just found people at the bar. I'm kidding, but they, the U.S. archery team literally looked like they just pulled the main dude out of a honky tonk, which I love that. That's fantastic to me. These aren't people that have $1 million deals. They're leaving their job behind so they could go do this and come back, and they're going to end up paying more in taxes for the medal they won than they're ever going to make off of it. But they just love their sport so much, and I appreciate that. But
how about micro wrestling? All right, you ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Which mystery or unsolved case would you like to know the truth about?
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew that as soon as I read it, I was like, he's going to say Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. All right. I'm sorry. That dude was murdered. He did not commit suicide. There's no goddamn way that man committed suicide. I'm sorry. He was murdered by the people he had dirt on. And I don't even necessarily believe it was all the sex scandal dirt. I think he was money laundering for folks, and he's got dirt on all that. Either way, that dude was murdered. I have my lead suspect that I won't mention, but yeah, that dude was murdered. And they should find out who murdered him so they can get all of those people that were part of his little sex ring up and in jail. Hard. So there you go.
He's been waiting to say that on this podcast.
There you go.
I would like to know the truth behind JonBenet Ramsey, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. Mike, your brother really gets into that. He's fanatical about that particular murder. And there's tons of the Murder Channel has all kinds of specials about it.
I know.
So,
but I think it's just one of those. It's never going to be.
No, there's no way they're
ever going to be solved.
Well, a lot of the principal players are dead.
Yeah,
so
I know.
That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
All right. She'd be what, in her 30s now?
I have no idea. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Poor thing. All right. Which fictional character do you wish you could meet?
So we just said, which fictional character do I wish we could meet?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to meet Daryl Dixon.
Yeah. I get that. Kind
of a badass.
Yeah.
Probably not the kind of person that I'd be friends with, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I will tell you what, this pandemic has killed TV for me. And I know there's fictional characters in books and stuff too, obviously. But I don't know. Daryl Dixon was the first one that came to mind.
Yeah. There's a litany, and obviously
we'll be here for the rest of the night, folks. Get comfortable. Go get yourself a coffee or a drink or whatever. Kevin's about to run through the whole Marvel universe.
No, if I had to narrow it down to one, and this might surprise you, but because you would think Captain America or Thor, or one of probably Ben Grimm.
Don't even know who that is.
The Thing from the Fantastic Four, the guy made of rocks.
Really? Why?
Believe it or not, out of all the Marvel characters, and this is written this way in the books for decades, the way Stan Lee wrote it, he's been one of the most connected characters to everybody. Everybody has a relationship with Ben Grimm. The street level guys, the cosmic guys, the world savers, they all have a relationship with him. The Mountain Man's been involved with everything. They all love him. They play poker with him. He's just there. He's the superheroes guy. And he's always been written very down to earth. And I just think he'd be the most fascinating guy to talk to. Even as a kid, I always thought Ben Grimm was one of my favorite characters just because.
I don't know if it disturbs me that he's thought so much about this before this question. Like he's actually literally probably had this conversation with himself in his head.
Like Richard.
Which one of the characters would I really like to meet? And he's going through the pros and cons of all the characters. Mm-hmm. And he just drills it down to the Thing.
To the Thing.
I mean.
It's a great character. He's a great character.
Okay.
He's actually one of my all-time favorite characters.
This just stands to prove that we cannot get through an episode of This Week with the Roses or Friday Night Chats without somehow it coming back to the comic books.
Well, it's always going to be on my shirt.
It's
always
there. And it's not like we plan to talk about it. It just comes up.
There you go.
Kevin invents conversations sometimes. Like we'll be talking about something and he'll tell me how the conversation would go if this were going to happen. I think you do that in your head a lot between cartoons about
I do.
Characters and yeah.
I do. I have full conversations in my head, and I'll say them out loud, and she gets a kick out of it. It stems from something that my brother Tommy used to do. Like he would hear a song and hear some lyrics, and he would just come up with some hilarious lyrics on his own.
Yeah, my brother-in-law does that too. He killed "Open Arms" for me by Jimmy, but whatever.
Open Arms.
I'm not bitter about it or anything, Paul. If you're watching, I'm not salty.
Yeah. But just that creativity, and I'm not really, honestly, you folks think I'm creative, and I'm not even a little bit. Not even a smidgen. But these little things.
Being humorous is a creative outlet. I'm sorry.
Not really. But anyway, I'll sit there and I will have these conversations, and I'll say them out loud to her because she gets a kick out of it. But yeah, it's just a running conversation that happens in my head. I
got a laugh this morning at one of Kevin's friends posted about Little Joe's Auto and about his wife or something. I know.
The guy was saying how much of a scam it was.
How scam it is, and Kevin was like, "Well, it's all his wife's fault because he'd give him away, but she won't let him," which was the tagline for that local used car dealership.
Yeah, I think it was
on
Charlie
TV for years, but even still, it was so funny.
Yeah,
I thought that response was so funny. Just the way you actually literally like word for word said the tagline, but made it seem like it was something you were actually saying. It was funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff, but I don't think that's really creative.
Of course it is. There are people who cannot come up with stuff like that.
I don't invent ideas though. No,
that's ingenuity. Ideas. That's ingenuity.
I guess I don't come up with things on my own. That's all.
I don't either. And you say I'm a creative person. I copy things I see.
Yeah, but you do it in style.
Oy.
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 All right, folks. Well,
so our TikTok video of the week coming up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
That is our last table topic.
So,
and we're cooking corned beef and cabbage on this September day for dinner.
Yeah,
I can smell it in there.
Yeah.
TikTok video of the week is coming up, so stay tuned for that.
Bye, everybody.
little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, damn.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. I mean, Denver International Airport.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me, I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Furry hat guy, I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends.
Hey, this isn't your friend.
It used to be until you put it on your head, man.
You're such a sweet talker.
Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.